Mm. Hello and welcome to another SOULution Sunday, because the soul is the solution. We are grand beings of light here playing in physical form. And today we have a gorgeous grand being of light joining us in Deb King. Deb is an award-winning coach's coach and an advocate for conscious businesses. In 2020, she co-founded the Wisdom Playground, a groundbreaking business incubator focused on innovative approaches to achieve better results with greater ease, joy, and impact. Deb describes herself as a happiness ambassador. We can't have enough of those. And passionate advocate for music, travel, and overall well-being. Deb utilizes her comprehensive skill set to empower coaches, healers, practitioners, leaders, helping them to share the wisdom with the world and thrive. Deb, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Lisa. So good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you and your bright smile. You share so much love and light. We love this.
Yay, great. Awesome. Well, so good to be in your energy. It's been too long and it's always uplifting and it's so good to see you've been doing this for so long now with your Solution Sunday and great to be here.
I'm just so happy to have you. So, how did you get involved in working with coaches?
Okay, so well, I've been a coach for 20 years myself, and in 2020, I had the plan to follow my dream to live in Hawaii. And I had arranged a retreat for women April 2020, and of course, the world stopped traveling in March. So my plans completely got stuffed up. All my travel plans of 2020 got changed, and I ended up staying in Sydney and ended up I had met Gabby, my business partner, the year before, and we were talking a lot and things unfolded. We actually first created a Facebook group to talk about reinvention and collaboration because people were talking about let's go back to normal and all this stuff, and we're like, no, how about we talk about how do we do things better, how do we help people collaborate more? That's what's needed, yet most of us aren't trained of how to do that effectively. So let's have those conversations. And then from there, that led into another idea I had, which was a singles party on Zoom called Singles, was um, which was because I'd been using Zoom for years, but had only just recently discovered the breakout rooms, and I had this cool idea of an experiment of love and connection in isolation, and bringing people together to meet in Zoom rooms and give them questions to ask each other, and so they could connect more. And then Gab said, well, how about we do that for entrepreneurs? And then I was like, oh, yeah. And then we thought, well, we need some tech to support that so it's effective. Then we started down this path of creating a different alternative to Zoom. And we ended up creating a program around being the change in terms of our marketing. And then that led to our membership. And what happened is our membership, when we attracted some people who were really cool, founding members actually like yourself and a few others that were really cool, and they were all coaches or people who had fresh wisdom to uplift humanity, and we were really attracted to working with them versus just other people that we had met. And so it evolved itself into being focused on coaches, from that, plus also the amazing research Gabby had done herself in the coaching industry, which was the kind of the catalyst for one of our programs called Skyrocket. When she told me about the research she'd done, and I was just blown away. I was like, I wish I knew this my whole career. This is not taught anywhere. This could change the whole coaching industry and raise the standard and have so many more people thriving. We need to get this out to the world. So it was sort of this combination of the skill sets that we had and the way things unfolded. And now, yeah, now really passionate about helping those who help people transform.
That's amazing. I've been in your Skyrocket program and your Wisdom Playground, and it's amazing. It's a beautiful place for collaboration and creation and creativity. And kudos to you two for creating such a beautiful, effective space.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a really beautiful thing to I guess challenge the old ways. Part of the vision behind it as well was we were thinking everything that happened BC before COVID needed a refresh anyway. Like, why don't we take the best of ancient wisdom, spiritual wisdom, modern science, business? Why don't we take the best of all that and consciously create something different that's better? Because we have that opportunity. Anything's possible. Like, why do we have to, if we don't just consciously choose to create something different, we're going to just keep creating what we know. So that was another kind of driving piece of it. And yeah, it has been really fun to create an environment to have everyone feel comfortable to be fully themselves, to explore other aspects of themselves, and raise the standard of how they're delivering their services to their clients as well. So up their level of mastery, because in general, there's a lot of very average services out there. People don't actually know what they don't know, so they don't actually realize it could be so much better.
Exactly. And
Mm.
it's amazing that, it's amazing how much we can create when we place our attention on it. When we just start thinking outside the box. We've just been given all these rules of this is the way it is. And then we just keep creating the way it is. And the way it is really isn't all that great. It's like when we step outside that box and see what is actually possible, then we can create from that. And it's so much better.
It is. It's recognizing that we actually all have so much value within us, and so many more innate abilities that we are even tapping into. There's just so much. We're connected into the infinite field, right? So we can actually access an unlimited amount of new possibilities we're not even aware of yet. So when we open up to that, it's very fun because it's also letting go of judgment of all the experiences that we've had that we're not necessarily realized that they've got perfection in them as well. And I'm also talking to myself because I can be very judgmental on myself, and I think that the part of the secret for everything is transcending judgment and letting go of the judgment and trusting in the perfection, and anything that we've been through, and anything we've learned, and any all the stuff, everything, it's all valuable if we actually recognize it as that. It's sort of that whole thing of uh there's nothing that's truly rubbish. It's how we look at it.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah. I mean, everything is of value, everything is a learning experience. And we can have the experience and learn from it, or we can have the experience and not learn from it and then repeat it again. And we'll just keep repeating the same basic experience until we learn what we need to learn and realize that, oh, I don't have to repeat this pattern anymore. I don't have to continue to have the same experience. I can create something completely different.
It's so true. And I feel that one of the keys to that is actually taking time to reflect. And because actually, as Gabby says, we don't learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. So many of us, and this was me as well, when I started coaching, I would be continually learning, going to all these different courses, but not really taking time to implement and then reflect on what's happening and track that. And that's an ongoing thing that I again could be better at, is that reflection is just so powerful. We've got so much happening every day, there's so much noise, there's so much like possibility in every moment as well, that unless we do take that time to stop and really tune in to our inner wisdom and guidance and reflect, we're probably going to often repeat the same things over again, I think.
Exactly. Like when we
Mm.
don't sit and actually tune in to our own inner guidance, we're just externally guided. And there are a lot of people out there that would love to guide us in their direction, the way, to doing what they want us to do. And if we're not conscious or aware, we just go right along with the program, and it doesn't serve us. So being able to sit and quietly tune in, we can listen to the subtle guidance from our bodies. Our bodies are so wise, and they'll tell us whether this is something that's in alignment or not. But we've really not been trained to listen to that. So if
Mm.
something feels heavy, but we're told, well, you have to do that anyway. It's like, oh, all right, well, let me pay my taxes. And it's like we just keep doing the things that we don't want to do. So we just keep creating more and more of the things that nobody likes, rather than tuning in and going, what else is possible?
I like that question. What else is possible? And yeah, this it's a practice of tuning in and understanding, getting more familiar with those subtle feelings, because like you say, if it's heavy or if it's light, it's there's a fairly obvious thing there. Sometimes it might be just that little bit heavy, or that little, yeah, it's kind of. But I like the whole. I'd love to hear what tip you have on this, Lisa. But in terms of that whole thing, if it's not a absolutely juicy yes, like strong yes, then it's not a yes. Like it's a no for now. What's your thoughts on making choices by listening in, tuning in?
Well, we've been living, inside this box of rules. This is follow these rules, you have to do these rules. And as humanity, we've been following that path for eons. And we just think that that's the path. And we've trudged down the path, and it's like, time to make the donuts. There used to be a commercial like that back, it's like, ugh. Like, but like, that's not why we're here on this earth. Like, we're beings of light. We're here to enjoy ourselves and to have grand and glorious experiences. So, I learned this when I was facing cancer myself, and I was looking at the medical route and like, ugh, you know, chemo, yeah, that doesn't sound like a real good time to me, and I realized that that was just a hard no in my body. And so I had to start asking what else is possible, because there was no way I was going down that hard no route. So once I started asking, just getting quiet and asking, what do I need to know about this in order for it to change? The information that finally dropped in when I got my mind quiet enough was, hey, Lisa, your body's not being attacked by some disease. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And in that moment, it was like, oh, it was completely obvious to me that everything I had been told about cancer and disease was actually not true. So, something that we have been told for thousands of years, something's wrong with you. I suddenly realized, wait a minute, there's a completely different possibility here. And the other possibility is actually true. and the other possibility feels good because it's something that is in resonance. And it's like, wait, I have command of this. My body is listening to me. Hey, if my body is responding to me, then let me lead it back to health instead of me running from my body. So, what I've learned is to really get quiet and tune in and ask, because outside this box, infinite possibilities. The joy, the peace, the ease, like all the great stuff, the unlimited possibilities are outside this box of limitation.
Yeah, totally. It's I mean, I honor your courage, but what a great reward that you did trust yourself rather than what you're told that you're supposed to do, even though that didn't feel right. And you found the way, and now you help others with that. It's just so inspiring. How do you uh, how do you tune in now and notice like what's a yes and what's a no? Have you got like specific guidance on that?
Um, Really, I mean, it's kind of, I've kind of been able to fine tune my awareness so that it's really, really clear to me for the most part. It's just like, and the more quiet I get, the more space appears. Like my thought space expands. So, and as my thought space expands, I start to see a broader vision of the world. My vision used to be just on me and my own experience and how crappy life was and how I was, how I had to go find to make money, and and my vision was really, really so narrow that I couldn't see the other possibilities. But as I've started to get quiet and expand my thought space, getting quieter in my mind and clearing my energy field, like the vision expands. So now, at first it was like, just seeing the physical stuff. Then I kind of moved out a layer and it was almost like, oh, wait, I can kind of look at my life from an overview. Like I don't have to be in the life, like I can kind of observe from a different perspective. And now my observation point is I can be like kind of one with the universe and turn around and look. And each time you expand your attention point, you see a different vision of what's happening. So when you have a big enough vision of what's happening, you can just see what's going on in the world. And it's like, okay, those are things, those are hard no's over there. And this is the hard yes. Like this is the path that I'm creating. And if it feels like this is the next step on my path, then that's what I'm doing. And if it feels like that other stuff, it's a hard no.
Mm, love that. I love it. Especially the at what you say about the next step. It's not necessarily that we see the entire path, but we know the next step and we take that and trust that. And, if you're trying to drive from LA to New York, you're not needing to know every single twist and turn of the road to get there. You just need to know where to start heading towards, take the next step and keep following that. And as you go each step of the way, the next one unfolds rather than necessarily knowing every part of that journey when we start.
Exactly. As we once we set our compass, and it's like, this is where I'm going, this is what I want to do, or this is what I want to create, then as long as we're focused in that direction, then the path unfolds as we go. But a lot of times we're trained that we have to know every single step of the way, and it becomes so overwhelming that we don't even start.
That's so true. Yeah. It's um it's funny how much we can let overwhelm get in our way. And I love what you just gave as that image of expanding our vision so that we have more space and less overwhelm. Like, kind of, overwhelm is the thing we don't need to choose anymore. We can leave that one in BC before COVID.
Exactly. Yes. And
Mm.
what I've learned is like overwhelm is it's a confusion and conglomeration of energies in our energy field. Like it's like a lot of discoherent energies. Like there's like coherence, when we're in coherence, we're in harmony with the universe and things just flow really easily. But when there are a lot of disjointed, chaotic energies in our energy field, which we're not ever taught to look at or notice or learn how to clear or balance, when there are all those energies in our energy field, life will appear to be really random, chaotic, confusing. So, what I've learned is that it's all about our energy field. We all have this personal energy field. And when we learn to start noticing the energy in our energy field and clearing it and balancing it on a daily basis, we've all been taught, to take a shower every day or brush your teeth, comb your hair. We've never been taught clear your energy field because that's where our power lies. If we all know how to do that, then nobody can control us. That would be terrible.
So have you got tips for how to clear the energy field, or is it more, is it simple? Is there, like, how do you teach that normally?
Well, I mean, it's extremely simple. It's
Mm.
simply a matter of starting to notice. So I look at energy sort of like colors of paint, like they're all colors are available to choose from, as are all energies. But the energies that are natural energies are super high vibrational because we're beings of light. Like any
Yes.
scientist will tell you that you take any part of your body and put it under a high enough power microscope, all there is light, right? So light is super light. It's joyful, it's blissful, it's airy, it feels good, it's expansive. Like that's our natural energy. But then when we get that shadow in there, that darkness, it kind of seeps in, and its job is to turn out the light. So when we get that darkness in our energy field, the fear, the doubt, the guilt, the shame, the blame, all of those things start seeping into our energy field. And then our reality is being generated from all the energy that's in our energy field, which why sometimes we have great experiences and other times they're really not so great. And it's those not so great energies that are generating the experience. So I've trained myself to, whenever an experience, a certain life circumstance shows up that's not to my liking, I don't try to change the experience. I look at the experience and I say, what does that make me feel? Do I feel afraid? Do I feel ashamed? Do I feel guilty? Do I feel overwhelmed? Like what is the energy that's attached to the circumstance? Because it's the energy that we need to change. Because when you change the energy, the circumstance has to change. There's no other way about it. It's really hard to change a circumstance, but it's simple to transmute energy. So I look at the energy. So if it's fear, for example, I'll get really quiet. I'll notice my personal energy field. I call it the globe, like sitting inside my own personal snow globe. And then I call my attention to the fear and I gather it up. Just I use my imagination. I allow myself to just vision and play. And if I could see fear, what would it look like? And I gather it up and then I transmute it. I gather it up into a rose, a red rose, like in your hair. I gather it up and I then just explode that rose back into light. So I take that energy and it's literally like alchemy. It changes that energy. And when you change that energy, it changes. We have command over energy. All energy is here to serve us. And when we learn that,
Mm.
we can start really clearing our energy field and we can start using these tools to a simple tool like a rose and the globe. I teach this all the time, but it's like the most powerful, potent thing I've ever experienced. And when you start using that rose like a little vacuum cleaner on a daily basis to start clearing out these energies of doubt or worry or fear from your energy field, it starts to get clearer. And the more clear and balanced your energy field is, the quieter your thought space is, the clearer your thought space, because your mental and emotional bodies are in the globe. They're in your energy field. We don't think with our brain, we think with our mental body, which is energy around us.
I love that. I think that I've heard you mention the globe and the rose before. It's super powerful. And what I love as well is energy doesn't lie. So we're always having it reflected to us. So if anything happens and that triggers a certain feeling, then there's the clue of where we have the opportunity to transmute it and turn it into different energy. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. I know
You're welcome.
it's I know I'm being interviewed, but I can't help myself.
We're having a conversation. I never talk about it as an interview. I just
Okay,
call it a
cool.
conversation.
Good.
We're here to activate our souls because the
Yes.
soul is the solution. And when we talk about these high vibe things, that's what we do. As the soul,
Yeah.
we look at energy. Like that's the
Yeah.
natural point of view. Like our human self, these physical eyes, look at the physical stuff. The soul, the non-physical self, looks at energy. It looks at the
Mm,
unseen. So
mm.
this is where that's
Yeah.
coming from.
Yes. And it's a beautiful thing because that's what we are, right? However, we've grown up in a world that is all about thinking and doing and being in our head and actually cutting ourselves off from our body, our heart, our emotions, our energy, and our energy in motion, all the things. And it's so exciting that there's more people teaching. Sorry, I'm feeling all blocked up, which is an interesting thing. I wonder what that's reflecting for me.
Healing,
But yeah, I
healing.
love that you're teaching this. I'm passionate about this topic as well. I'm excited you have a movie coming out very soon. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's very exciting. Keith Leon S., our guest from last week, he has created the inside effects, how the body heals itself. Coming out on
Amazing.
July 8th, 2023. Go to
That is going to be so good.
theinsideeffects.com and sign up to be notified.
Yes.
Shameless plug for
The
Keith.
the inside effects. Can't wait to see it. I'm sure it's going to be amazing because the truth is, in probably not too distant future, energy will be a normal conversation. It'll be taught everywhere. It won't be this different thing. Like it is so exciting that more and more people are actually realizing this is where it's at. This is what this is who we are.
Exactly. We've all been taught that everything is energy, but we've never been taught what that means or
Mm,
that we can change energy at will.
mm.
It changes
Yeah.
everything.
Well, I don't even know if everyone has been taught
Well,
we
yeah,
are energy. I think that that's starting to happen. I think that there's a growing awareness of that.
good point.
Um, but it's a very exciting time because my gosh, can you imagine when more of us have all kind of are actually like doing things like what you just said about clearing our energy field in the day so that we are being more light directed or influenced more, and really playing in the light space as the norm, as the default, and letting very little doubt into our lives, let very little judgment, very little fear, just truly living from love and joy and following our bliss. My goodness, how fun.
Right? Yeah. So how you call yourself the happiness ambassador? How did that come about?
Well, I started in 2003. I had been a major party animal and had always been seeking happiness, but you don't find it externally. I tried for many years finding it from partying, but eventually I realized I needed to look within. And in 2003, I came back to Australia to do my first life coaching course. So I started off as a life coach. And then over the years, I just found life coach seemed to be not a very good label. There's a lot of assumptions around what that was, and I didn't really like it. And so I didn't really want to call myself a coach at one point. And I actually genuinely just really love the idea of everyone choosing to be happy. Because why do we do anything? And because we do everything we do, we think it'll make us feel happier, it'll make us feel better. It's the kind of the driver anyways, and we can choose to be happy now, or we can choose to be guided by that more. And so I just kind of picked that name. I mean, I played with a few. At one point, I called myself a funologist. I tried
I
on,
love that.
tried on, tried on a few different titles, um, and because it's a funny thing when we want to put that title or label on ourselves, yet we're always so much more than that, right? Like it's such an interesting thing. But happiness ambassador, that feels fun for now. I mean, it's always fun when someone says they like the sound of it and they want to be that too, because there's room for all of us to be happiness ambassadors. So it's very inclusive and expansive. Um,
Right? We cannot have too
and
many happiness ambassadors.
yeah. So yeah, it's just a title that's a bit of fun, that sort of kind of claims the fact that I think happiness is a cool thing. It's really interesting thinking back to when I first did my life coaching certificate, and it was 20 years ago. And one of the assignments of that course was to write a topic, and I wanted it to be about happiness, and I was not allowed to use that word because back then you didn't talk about happiness in the same way. I had to use the word fulfillment, which I did not like. But what's been great is witnessing since then, happiness has become a huge topic. There's conferences, there's experts, there's PhDs, there's all sorts of people that have kind of studied it and explored it and written books about it and talk about it, and it's in marketing in general, and you know what I mean, it's sort of mainstream again now, the word happiness and being happy and that focus. But it's really interesting looking at how things shift, because even mental health right now, mental wellness is more, people are more aware of it, people are happy to talk about it more, whereas not that long ago that was not something that was really understood either. And it's still probably not fully understood, but in terms of there's a growing awareness of talking about it and working on it, and people prioritizing that now, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's funny, in two decades ago it was very different. Not many people had heard of coaching then either. yeah, it's been quite a huge um, shift.
Wow. So I remember a time in my life where I was not happy at all in any way, shape, or form. And, that obviously impacted my health in a pretty drastic way. And I, there was really a time when I remember somebody saying, well, choose happy, be happy. I was like, I don't have anything to be happy
What?
about, right? So, what would you say to somebody who says, I don't have anything to be happy about? I can't be happy.
Wow. I mean, it's a really interesting thing you say that, Lisa, because as I've told you, I am on the end of having a little time of being unwell myself, or sick or healing, or I like how you put it in terms of the body's just doing its thing. Right now, there's some stuff I'm releasing, right?
Right?
Um, so, and I have had my own challenge of that, of feeling not happy about it and judging it, and it's interesting because it can be mm, a the more we focus in that mindset, the more we get of that. Whereas if we can just start to find little things to start to head on the other direction, and then because what we focus on we get more of. So I'd say if someone really has nothing to be happy about, um firstly, my heart goes out to them, because it's really feels shit when you're in that position, right? When you like really genuinely feel that, and it's really a matter of helping them find something, so find a little tiny little thing, to start with, and then so that can build into more things. So I think sometimes, I'm not a big person on, I don't think comparison is genuinely a good thing, especially if it's comparison to, because most people compare themselves and make themselves feel shit, right? However, if it's comparison where it's perspective of how lucky we actually are versus, say, other people in maybe another country where they're just lost their house and their family, everyone, even from war, or there's always another situation that potentially could give some perspective of, actually, like, there's some stuff to be grateful for. You actually have something to be grateful for. There's always something to be grateful for, and for those who are struggling to find that, I would send them a whole bunch of love, and really, I guess, give them some compassion and time, and have a real conversation of what's going on, and finding new perspectives to look at it from different ways, and slowly find more, to reach for. Now, if you're not in such a bad way, it's going to be a bit easier. If you're kind of higher up on the spectrum of, like, you can think of things to be grateful for. I had beautiful running water for my shower this morning, and I have, friends and family who love me, or I have flowers in my garden that look beautiful and smell nice, or I don't know, it could be any little thing that can start us on looking for what we're appreciating and grateful for. And I think that that's one of the fastest ways. The more we can find the things we're grateful for and appreciate, then we can find more of those, and before you know it, your whole happiness can be shifted, very quickly, actually.
Yeah, it
And
can.
then, of course, there's things, finding something that makes you feel good. Like for me, I love to dance. I love to laugh. I love, there's connecting in with, if you know what makes you enjoy life, do that. Like, if you want to
Exactly.
read, if you want to I don't know, play sport, whatever is your thing, do it. Do it. Do what makes you happy, do more of it, and try new things. and give yourself permission to play. Give yourself, firstly, yeah, give yourself permission to be happy. It's actually a good thing to allow yourself to be happy for so many
Exactly.
reasons.
Yeah, it's like we're meant to be happy. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Happiness is literally a natural state of being. And
Mhm.
people think that being unhappy is pretty natural because like a lot of people are pretty unhappy in this world. But
Mhm.
happiness is a natural state.
Yeah. I think there's also the sometimes we might need to rest. We might need to have a sleep. We might need to, there's that. We might need some more to drink more water. You might need some healthy food. You might need to move your body and go for a walk. You might need to, like, there's a whole lot of kind of actual things that your body might be craving. And then there's also some really good supplements these days that can help people's mood and motivation and focus and energy and physical health, all of that. When we are looking after ourselves so that our body is functioning at its best, that's going to also help. So there's all the different levels, right?
Yeah. And I think too that when people are feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling unhappy, they tend to isolate themselves. And we tend to go, "Oh, I don't want to reach out and make somebody else unhappy, I don't want to spread my spread the bad juju around." But I think that's exactly when we need to reach out and, have some distraction from other people, the people that love us and, can change the tone with us.
It's such a good point that if we're not feeling good, that we tend to not want to reach out when we actually, that's a really good time to do it. But I think you're so spot on that many of us will not. And it's partly because I feel again, our conditioning in our society is we celebrate being independent. We don't, we don't, um, like that whole community of supporting each other is actually such a beautiful way to live and so rewarding. What, as humans, we do thrive so much more in that way. Yet we've kind of separated ourselves and become more well, there's the competition part, but there's the just being independent is an interesting thing.
Mm.
But yes, if you're watching this now, reach out to someone and connect, because they will probably be uplifted as well, even if you're um, not feeling your best. People love to help people. They, when we have the opportunity to support someone, we get fulfilled by that too. There's that balance of giving and receiving. So I mean, it's different if you just constantly are taking from someone and draining someone, then that's different too.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you actually allow someone, give the gift of allowing someone to help you, that is a beautiful thing. And then you can always thank them properly when you're feeling better as well. So, there's many ways to I don't know, to support each other and be grateful for the support we give to each other, appreciate that from each other, and make that a beautiful, not that it has to be an equal exchange all the time, but I think that there may be someone else you could go and give to, in terms of I think that, like you say, when we think that we don't want to burden someone else, just ask yourself, if someone needed your help, wouldn't you rather they contact you if they're not feeling good? Usually, I would say that would be yes. So therefore, do the same. Do what you would actually recommend to your loved ones. Do that.
Yeah, exactly. I had a student in one of my courses today reach out this morning and say, I've fallen down the rabbit hole, I'm feeling terrible, this is not working. And I sent her a message back. And when she sent me the message back, she's like, oh my gosh, I can let all that go. Great. It was just like this complete turnaround simply because she had taken the opportunity to reach out and say, I need a little assistance here. So I just sent back, here's something that could help you. And she's like, oh my gosh. And it like changed the entire tone. It only took a few minutes on each of our parts, but it was the fact that she actually took the initiative to reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling a little bit here. So it worked out really beautifully. I felt better. She felt better. It was win-win all the way around.
That's right. It's so cool. It's being willing to be vulnerable and actually say, I need help. That is so powerful. And that's a lesson for whatever we're doing in life. If we can do that in our work, if we're studying in a course, if we're whatever we're doing, it's so powerful because that is how you're going to definitely progress faster rather than sitting in a hole suffering, which is just not necessary. Yeah,
Exactly.
really, really good example.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's also just so important to have like-minded community around us, just like you've created the wisdom playground where like-minded community gathers and everybody is interconnected and they can all reach out to each other. They can reach out to you and to Gabby and to each other, and there's always support available. And it's so important to have that like-minded community, because when we express ourselves amongst like-minded people, they get us and we don't feel so isolated. We don't feel like we have to do everything alone. We feel like we're part of something and that, we're not just burdening one friend with something, or, it's like, here, let me play with you
Yeah.
for a little bit. And so I can feel better.
Yes, and there's, I mean, the Wisdom Playground absolutely is a beautiful community, and there's as humans, we need to find our learning communities, our tribes, and it's funny. At the beginning, I said it's a like-minded in some ways, but it's actually a like-hearted community.
There we go.
Um, because what we would say is, you know, what's great is we all have different opinions on things. We've got different backgrounds and different versions on stuff. And so it was like, it's definitely like minded in many ways. And it's like hearted because, we have good humans that have different political opinions and on both sides of whatever. We have different good humans that have different health choices that they make, and that's okay. And it's like we can different good humans that like their toilet paper over, some like their toilet paper under. we can all have we can all have
I love it.
our like it's about being curious and still loving each other even if we think differently, and celebrate getting the opportunity to understand different people's perspectives as well, because that can open up our whole world. So yes, 100% like-minded, and also be open to hanging out with people that do think differently as well.
Mhm. Yep. But when they're all open-hearted and, have that beautiful open heart, that's where it's really at. That's where
Yeah,
you're spreading love all over the globe, love and well-being.
that's right. Yeah, and that's where the like-mindedness comes in. It's the core desire that everyone, all humans are good humans that have big hearts that want to actually contribute in a positive way as best they can, and everyone's doing the best they can, really, aren't they?
Exactly. All the time. It's the only thing we can do. It's like we never think like, hey, let me see how much I can screw up today. It's not really a thing.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's just it's lovely to be able to come together and have these conversations and start shedding light on all of these topics because, really, when it comes right down to it, we all want the same things. Like, we all want to live in peace and happiness and prosperity. We don't want it, we want ease and grace and flow. We don't want to struggle through life. So all of us, I think, are on that same page. So that's kind of where the whole like-minded thing is. It's like, hey, let's get together and let's create heaven on earth. We've been living in the opposite for, long enough. It's time to start really creating a whole new way of being on the planet. And it starts from inside. And, when we really start choosing happy, and, it can happiness is a choice on many levels. Sometimes we don't think that it is, that we don't have the choice, but, once we make that choice, anytime we make a really clear, conscious choice, it's like, you know what? I want to be happy. I choose to live in happiness, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for to be there. And it's a really powerful choice.
It is. It's such a powerful choice, and it's an ongoing choice. It's not a destination. So it's an ongoing
Exactly.
practice in a way.
Yep.
But it's definitely a really fun, great way, a better, in my experience, a better quality of life experience when we do make that choice.
Exactly. Man, I mean, my life, like you wouldn't even recognize me, the person, from where it was that I used to be like, I have nothing to be happy about. And now it's like completely different. I'm still living on the same planet with pretty much the same people, but everything is completely shifted because I've learned how to clear out my energy field and get rid of all the stuff that was making me so unhappy.
Mm, yeah, it's it's a really good example. No matter where you are right now, you can actually completely change your life. It's just a choice, and surrounding yourself with the right people that can help you on that path. And yeah, very exciting times. We are living on the planet at a very, very exciting time.
Exactly. It's really an honor to be here and to be able to witness what's going on this planet, and the massive shifts that are happening.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's really
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Absolutely. So good.
I love it. And it's because people like you and me who are here that are shining our light, being happy, being the examples, and just holding our energy, that frequency, holding the frequency high. Because as we each hold our frequency high, we come back into coherence with peace and happiness and thriving. It lifts up everybody in the collective. So it's
Mm.
such a fun time to be alive when we can when we can get into this space where it does become super fun.
Yes, yes, indeed. I'm very grateful to be here, and yeah, it's been so good to have a chat with you, Lisa, especially as I at the end of a releasing thing. There's no mistake in the timing of yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We are so much more powerful than we even realize. And it is super exciting to start to connect in with some of that power. So
Exactly.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Deb. We are all grand beings of light and we can all create anything we choose. But you just have to choose it and go for it.
So true.
I love that. So
That's right.
So, Deb, how can people reach out to you and find you if they'd like to connect with the Happiness Ambassador? And if they're, especially if they're an entrepreneur and would like to take part in your incredible programs, either the Wisdom Playground or Skyrocket, which is just an incredible program. I learned so much from that. I use lots of things that I learned in that.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, would love to connect. I'm on all the socials. The website is thewisdomplayground.com. So THE wisdomplayground.com. And yeah, on all the socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, a few of the others, all the others. We actually use Telegram a lot. We use Telegram a lot. So
Yes.
yeah, so very happy to connect. We have a super big passion to help more people, the people who help people transform. We want to see more of you guys truly thriving, because there's ways of thriving that you probably have not been taught, and not what you expect, but it's very, very powerful when you learn these tools. Like you say, Lisa, it's like, it's principles you can keep using in everything you do that help you get better results for your clients, but also create better business for yourself. So very exciting times. So we'd love to connect with anyone who resonates.
Yes, I highly recommend you and Gabby. It's amazing. So please, people, reach out if you are an entrepreneur and want to up your game and help your clients even more.
Yay.
Beautiful. Yay. Deb, thank you so much for getting up on a Australian morning to come and play with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's just always a delight to see you, Lisa, and really, really fun conversation. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So if you are watching on YouTube, check the show notes for all of Deb's links. And if you are listening on the podcast, check the show notes for all of Deb's links. Beautiful. So until next week, create for yourselves a fun, happy, joyful week. Bye for now, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in.